Hello and welcome to the Franchise Life. I am your host, Stacie Shannon. Today we have a special guest with us. Her name is Danielle Wright, and she is the Chief Development Officer at Premium Service Brands. Welcome, Danielle.
Hi, Stacie. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So let's just jump right in, Danielle. And what is Premium Service Brands?
Premium Service Brands is a collection of 9 home service brands that really specialize in repairs and maintenance of the home. We started as a painting company, 360 Painting, and over the past 10 to 15 years, we've acquired various brands that can support the homeowner in any kind of task that they have in their home.
So I am aware, having access to hundreds and hundreds of brands in the franchise industry, Premium Service Brands is not alone in the space in which they are in essence considered an umbrella company that owns a number of brands within that umbrella company. So Danielle, what would you say differentiates Premium Service Brands from other umbrella companies in the franchise space?
Great question. So Premium Service is just that, an umbrella company, as you said. What differentiates us is twofold. We really acquire and bring on brands that complement each other so that we can help our owners diversify and what we call stack, add additional brands into their portfolio to leverage and work more with the consumer that they've already acquired with a different brand. Secondarily, we're really powered by Live Extraordinary. So what does that mean to us is that we lead with our values and our systems first, and we just happen to be in the home service category. So what do I mean by that? We have a lot of philanthropic pieces to our individual franchises, but more importantly, we have an organization called Kids Lift that really support that community and taking today's youth and turning them into tomorrow's leaders, giving them the opportunity to have access to things that they may not have had based on their situation. So we really drive home the Kids Lift program, and that's kind of the root of why we're living extraordinary, is if we're taking those everyday pieces and turning them to an extraordinary experience. So that's our differentiator as a premium service brand.
How cool. So let's touch on a little bit more of the value of an umbrella company, because there are so many brands out there that are, they are owned by the founder, and the founder has grown them substantially, which is fantastic. I mean, there's a lot of great brands, and that can be very successful as well. But when you join a brand that is a part of an umbrella company, and you already touched on a little bit about the systems and the processes and so forth, what would you say one of the biggest values of investing in a brand that is part of an umbrella company?
I believe the value of investing in brands that are part of these organizations is that they have the ability to think long term and be in the forefront of things. Specifically for PSB, we hear a lot about AI in today's environment, right? Like how it's good, how it's bad. But we've utilized that in our training and our abilities to help owners understand what it means to put on a virtual goggle and role play walking into a customer's house and quoting them. We've used other technologies to be able to create proprietary software and systems to help our franchise owners have success in acquiring new business. By being part of a parent company or an umbrella company like Premium Service, we're able to invest in that forward-thinking technology, and that really supports our franchise owners. So if you had to do this on your own, you're not going to be able to reach those levels just strictly because the investment alone takes a lot of time, energy, and money, right? So being a part of that type of organization that's really thinking, how do I 10x a business, but more 20x a business by being a part of that, is the benefit of the parent company. To the same point, we've just launched a mobile app that allows for our customers and consumers to gain points and get discounts on premium service brand service offerings outside of necessarily, hey, you don't use one of our brands in your market, but guess what? Scan your receipt, kind of like some of those discount sites where I tag my receipt, I get points, and then I get cash back, that kind of thing. We're doing the same thing with PSB, is that we want our consumers to benefit no matter what, to utilize our services, but use others as well. So that's something that wouldn't come with another company unless you had that investment into that infrastructure, into the tech, and be forward thinking of how do you actually benefit as a franchise owner and a consumer from those advancements.
How cool. You're really, PSB is the first company in the franchise space that I've heard has used AI technology as far as the goggles and the simulation and training and so forth. That's not to say there might not be others out there, but I mean, trust me, and in all the interviews I've done to date and so forth, that's the first time that's been brought up, which is really cool. But again, some other support that umbrella companies and in particular PSB offers is call center support, which is something that I think is huge. And when a client talks to me, and let's just pick a painting company, right? A painting brand. And they say, why I can go out and start my own painting business. Why do I need to be a part of a franchise brand? I love having those discussions because it's things, all of that support like a PSB brings, such as call center support, marketing support, ready-made websites where you have that brand recognition that allows you to show up sooner or maybe on the first page of Google or what have you. So what are some of those other areas of support that PSB provides those franchise owners in your 9 brands?
Great. So we do have a contact center, right? So the goal of a contact center is it's a speed to the referral opportunity. We don't want to miss out on any option to be able to meet with our customers, our clients, those seeking that service. So we do have that contact center. We have 4 weeks of training, which is really in depth. We teach them how to run and operate a business. And then on top of that, working with the marketing team on how to execute those marketing strategies. Because every market's a little different, right? Like I may market this way to this market and maybe a different one here. And because we have 9 brands, the goal is to really kind of leverage that for our owners and give them the ability to stack on top of their brand. So understanding the marketing for one means the marketing is going to tie to the other. We have peer groups. So we offer individualized coaching for our franchise owners in those ramp up stages. And thereafter, the best lessons you can learn are from those that have done it before, right? So we put everyone in peer groups so that way we can actually leverage those relationships and say, hey, I did this here, don't do this, or I did this here and it really worked, you should try that here. The other support of that is from the marketing tied to the philanthropic pieces. Like we have a brand that focuses on cleaning for a cause, right? So there are opportunities also to build that community involvement by having that. And so we put that into our training. We put that into our onboarding, where there are franchises that I'm sure you've talked to and I've worked with in the past that there's a say, but there isn't a do. So we are big about providing the support on how you execute those things out in your market. To the point which you said, we were talking about the AI. It's not just teaching someone how to run the business; it's teaching someone how to quote. So we've been able to create software that goes with you on a tablet to be able to provide an accurate estimate into the homeowner, so that they're getting that personalized touch point, and you're there real time showing them what it looks like. So there's no deceptive practices or no hidden information. It's really being a part of that to provide that support to an owner so they feel confident and comfortable walking into a homeowner's place of residence and saying, hey, this is what I love to do for you, X, Y, and Z. Let's walk through that. So part of that support comes from all of those pieces working together. And we really pride ourselves at Premium Service still being run by our founder, Paul Flick, is building that strong team environment where we're all working together, we're exchanging ideas, and no idea is a bad idea. So I think that's a benefit for us and franchise owners within our system, is that you can learn a lot from a different business that you may be running that could really support the painting business, as we've just talked about here. So there's a lot of that good stuff that Premium Services built into their communication channels to help franchise owners really feel successful and valid.
And everything you just touched on, Danielle, is the value of the franchise model. It is fantastic. So, and specifically premium service brands. Okay, so let's touch on, you've mentioned and alluded to something called the stacking model several times. So what is the stacking model?
So let's see if we can walk through this together. So a lot of parent companies have complementary brands. For us, we call it stacking. And the reason why is a lot of our brands are so complementary that the resources, the things I'm sure you hear from clients daily is, what about labor, right? Marketing. Those are their struggles that they're experiencing right now with, hey, do I start a business? How hard is it to find labor? So with the stacking model, if you start with one premium service brand, they're very complementary from a skill set perspective, so that if there is a seasonality to a business, if there is a downtime or a turn to it, you can stack, which means layer on another premium service brand that is complementary to utilize your staff. You could double brand a truck, you could have separate trucks, you can double brand your marketing. It's a way to add revenue to your business, utilize the systems that are already in place that you're already paying for and covering, and making yourself a multi-brand, multi-unit operator within this franchise system. That generally comes with a lot of different benefits, but the main one that people look at is, wow, I can stack on a brand, use my labor source, not really having to tack on a lot of labor percentage, but increase my revenue exponentially by having that complementary service. As discussed, I have an owner in our system that owns 5 of our 9 brands currently. He started in one, had worked that very successfully for a while, and he is stacked on the others because they complement each other. He can share marketing facets. You also, the piece that people forget about is, once I've gained entrance into your home, this is your home. This is your private space. This is where you dance around at night to various music, right? So if I've come in and gained that rapport and trust, then guess what? I get the opportunity to say, "Hey, Stacie, I'm made right, and I'm cleaning your home. You've got some grout that's like falling apart in your shower. I have this business called the Grout Medic. We could come in, patch that up, and it looks brand new," right? So it gives you, as a business owner, access to reutilize that home, that person. But as a homeowner, it's also giving me the ability to say, hey, you don't have to go find some random person to do this. We've already built the trust. You already built the rapport. I already know that you're not going to come in and take all of my stuff. So great. Let's add on to that. Let's be the trusted resource for all things in your home. We have a handyman business called House Doctors. It's the same thing. If I own that and I see this, then I have the abilities from the stacking to be the one-stop shop for you as a homeowner.
And this is a very innovative approach. And what I love about it is, many clients will grow horizontally, right? And what that means is by adding more and more territories with their single offering. So, but there's always, you're always at risk of whether that territory is still going to be available or not when you are ready for that growth. And that's not to say you might not have the same challenge if you grow vertically. Let's get this vertically through the stacking model. I mean, there may be a couple other owners, right? I mean, in there from the PSB brands, but you have 9 brands to pick from. And the beautiful thing about what PSB has created in this sense is, I would imagine the back end systems are all similar or on the same platform. So there's very little training and lead time to startup per se. I mean, really, you got to learn that offering. But other than that, you're already a part of premium service brands.
You hit the nail on the head. So we all are on the same CRM platform. We're all on the same marketing platforms. So it's like a flip a switch today and tomorrow you're off to the races. And it's really the epitome of what we've said historically from an operations perspective. Go deeper. You don't always have to go wider, go deeper. We're getting that low-hanging fruit regularly, but with PSB and the stacking option, even in the existing brands, there's so much more that you can just dig into deeper to get to where your goals are personally and professionally. But with all the shared resources, it's not anything to flip the switch and say, here, let me get a truck. We have vendors for the trucks so people can lease them. So getting a vehicle that's branded is pretty quick and painless. And all you got to do is like, now I need my marketing to go here. Also, the advantages is now you've built a database. Right. And so even if you've
Absolutely.
gone in there once or twice, now I have the ability to go out and offer discounts and, hey, we're launching a new service. So it's really an amazing thing for those that want to be those empire builders and have something of a legacy to be able to add additional brands. And we're 9 today, but we could be 12 tomorrow. Right. So that's the goal of premium service, is to continue to bring on complementary businesses so that people have that option to build that empire.
Love it. All right, Danielle, I'm going to put you on the spot. You are
Uh-oh.
the Chief Development Officer after all. So we've alluded to these 9 brands that Premium Service Brands owns. So I'm going to ask you to take like 60 to 90 seconds to give a quick overview of each of your 9 brands.
Awesome. So this is a true test of my knowledge, and it may be less than 60 to 90 seconds, but we're going to go down the list. So let's start 360 painting. It is what it is. Residential, commercial, interior, exterior painting with some other pieces to that, but predominantly painting. We've got Made Right, which is housekeeping for residential mainly. There is some commercial built into that, but that's what's in the name, Made Right. ProLift garage doors. We are repairs and maintenance and install of garage doors. House doctors. This is the one that's a little bit more confusing, I think, for most, because when you hear house doctors, I don't know that you necessarily think of what it is, but it's truly a handyman business. The majority of our owners are going in with a handyman concept. There is light remodeling and some construction work that can be done with it. Some people do a little bit of the house flipping projects with it, but it's mainly handyman service. The grout medic, again, one that you don't think about until you really think about where all the tile is in your home, on the floor, on the countertops, and the backsplashes in the bathrooms. It is a cost-effective way to give your tile a fresh new look. So it can be cleaned, it can be regrouted, the color can be changed. There's a lot that you can do with grout that I don't think people realize that is an opportunity out there, but they're a highly successful franchise business for us. We have Rubbish Works, which is junk removal. We have Kitchen Wise, Closet Wise, which is a organization, kitchen, pantry, closets, remodel type of opportunity. So we go in and change out your cabinets, make sure that there's more organization for you in your kitchen or your closet or any kind of space to that nature. We have Window Gang. That is a new acquisition for premium service. As in the last 30 days, we just acquired Window Gang. Again, deceiving on the name a little bit, but it is pressure washing, gutter cleaning, anything and everything that has to do mainly with exterior. So it's a good complement to the 360 business when we're talking stacking, right? You want to pressure wash the house to get ready for paint. You need to clean out the leaves, the gutters, and then that's part of what they do from outside of just window washing and that scenario. And then the last one we have is Rooterman. It's a plumbing business. We acquired that a couple of years ago. It functions a little bit differently than most of our franchise models. A lot of those owners are conversions of independent plumbers that want to join a network and have that same support of a call center, shared software systems, ample marketing programs for them to take place with. So that's all 9 that, yes, I'm using my cheat sheet. Yep, got them all 9.
Well, you exceeded the time frame and you did a fantastic job. So, one thing about the grout medic, and I'm glad you kind of stopped and paused on that one to elaborate a little bit more. And I am so hyper aware now because the grout medic is not only for residential, but it can be for commercial also. So when you go into a hotel room and you go into the bathroom and you see the showers and you see the flooring, it's like, oh my gosh, I just want to leave a grout medic business card behind and say, you guys need to call them. Because it makes such a huge difference. And what I love about that one especially is it's such a simplistic business model with high margins. It is. So, and I mean, and a lot of these, right, apply to that. They're simplistic business models, quick to start. Usually you can launch within a 60-day period. 90 days. Yep. And so let's talk on a last note, let's talk about the investment level. And let's just a broad sweep investment level, and maybe, if there's a standard royalty that applies, maybe it ebbs and flows by 1% or so.
Yeah. So typically the investment range is 80 to about 150. Typically we're below the $200,000 investment range. To your point, it's some labor, it's some marketing, it's a vehicle. I love home service for that reason. It's a guy in a truck model. So it makes it pretty simplistic to get in there and get launched with these brands. So I generally tell people stay in the 100, 120 space. It's like if we're going to tighten down those numbers, that can get you a couple people, a truck or two, get you out on the road providing that service. And we do try to get everyone launched within 60 to 90 days of the time they sign their franchise agreement. We have trainings once a month, and part of that's virtual. So that makes it so that launch piece is really, really simplistic. Our call center fees are flat fees, are minimums, and then increase over time. Our royalties are 6%. So we try to make sure that we are sticking true to an economic model, right? So low cost of entry, quick ramp up. We're not looking to gouge you in the eye. We're wanting you to make money along the way. So that's our investment ranges for our franchises.
Very affordable entry point. So it wouldn't be a standard podcast if I didn't come up with one more question after I said on a last note. So on our second last note, let's talk about semi-passive ownership, because that is one beautiful thing. So I do want to just touch on what type of ownership model Premium Service Brands allows and supports.
So I'm glad you brought that up. I had talked to another person last week and they said that's one of the differentiators for them on showing a premium service brands to their clients, right? So it's because we allow multiple units. Most franchises in this segment say start with one and be good with that. And most of them, they were looking for owner operator models. We actually have quite a few franchise owners that operate maybe in more of a semi-absent or executive model. So this you just gave me an ample soapbox to go on. Semi-absent for us means you're going to work 15, 20 hours a week on some portion of the business, right? You're going to have a few more touch points. That changes over time, right? The first 2 years, you're probably going to spend a lot more time than you think, but then as you grow, obviously you're going to back that off. What I like about PSB is they actually have a really good, strong executive model where it's manage the manager, where you may not necessarily need the 15 to 20 hours a week. You have a couple of calls with the manager, you're on call, but they're going to run predominantly the day-to-day. They're going to troubleshoot if there's an issue out in the field. They're going to be able to maybe drive to a job site and check on the teams. So you're going to be able to really keep that full-time job and then manage the manager. Now, obviously, that changes a little bit about the investment range, but for those that are looking to kind of keep the security of their income, create that empire to where they can go into that in a couple of years after they've gotten the business working through its highs and lows. You've kind of built in that space of wherever I have that person doing the day to day, that I don't have to. So they have a strong representation across our brands for people in all of those categories, but we do offer that from day one. We do train you how to manage that manager or manage that team remotely. A lot of our leadership in premium service own franchises within premium service. So they're employed to do a full-time job with us, but they also own one or two brands within our organization. 360 Painting, our brand president of 360, is actually an owner in 360 and operates two territories there. So it is possible, it is doable within the premium service brands family to be able to offer that from day one for our owners.
And that is very important for me as a consultant, because I would say probably more than 70% of the individuals that I work with are looking for either semi-passive or executive models where they can manage the manager or be involved at a lower level per se, time wise. And I do have a close franchise consultant colleague that I collaborate with from time to time that is also a franchise owner in your system with Grout Medic. And I know he has told me that he's built up his business, but there are weeks that he may spend 5 hours on the business, and being a franchise consultant is really his full-time gig. So I do know it works. I've heard testimonials, so I love it. And it's also impressive when the brand and the brand president, as you mentioned, is investing in the brand and demonstrating that executive model ownership. So Danielle, thank you so much for joining me today. I definitely took away a few new nuggets about premium service brands, and am excited to help bring some new candidates your way. For anyone that is interested in learning more about premium service brands or any of the 9 brands that Danielle introduced you to, please feel free to reach out to me at Stacie@fusionfranchising.com. Thanks, and have a great day.